Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay, so last time we saw from Sutra 61, 62, and 63. So we are in the section of Narada Bhakti Sutra where we're talking about obstacles in the practice of bhakti. So last time we saw that if there's any loss, first of all, a bhakta doesn't see loss as loss, because for a bhakta, there's no gain. Everything is Bhagavan's. If there's anything that we are worried about, if there's anything we're stressed about, it says here, nivedita. Nivedita means offered to Bhagavan. And that once offered to Bhagavan, we can't anymore take it back. So if anything's troubling us, worrying us, stressing us out, just offer it to Bhagavan. And if it comes again into our mind, say that I've already offered it to Bhagavan. I cannot take it back. Then we also saw that till that bhakti is gained, we should continue our loka vyavahara and offer everything to Bhagavan, halatyaga. And even when that bhakti is gained, we should still continue our vyavahara. And then we saw that we should stay away from certain dialogues that would obstruct our bhakti or devotion. Now we will see the next obstacle in Sutra 54. Abhimanadambhadikam tyajyam. So what happens in bhakti? Abhimana, dambha. So abhimana is pride, dambha is vanity, adikam and other such vices should be given. When we tend to gain something in life, we maybe gain wealth, or we gain a skill, some kind of knowledge, or we have a talent, or we have a great social status. We tend to get proud and we feel like, oh, I'm so great that I gained this. Oh, there's nobody like me. Oh, this person is not like me, that person's not like me. We start seeing faults in other people and we raise ourselves up. The sense of pride is a forgetfulness. When we forget the role of Guru and Bhagavan in our lives, then we become proud. So if at any point in time pride enters our mind, understand that at that point we forgot God. We forgot God's contribution in our life. And because we forgot that, we became very proud. And when we become proud, we then disconnect from the whole society. We're not open to receiving, open to learning. The glory of a bhakta is actually becoming insignificant in the eyes of Bhagavan. One of our Swamiji says, to rise, first we have to become dust. So the glory of the bhakta is to be insignificant, to be able to be insignificant, to be absolutely okay with not being recognized, to be absolutely okay with nobody giving attention to us, nobody appreciating us, nobody understanding us. Because if anything, the bhakta always feels, let Bhagavan be praised, let Bhagavan be recognized, let Bhagavan be known. Who am I to be known? So the glory of a bhakta is to make themselves small, to become insignificant. Those who strive to make themselves significant in the eyes of Bhagavan, they never become bhaktas because they never realize how great is Bhagavan's contribution. We think that I do, I know, I got it, I won it. But who created our hands? Who created our mind? Who created this life? Who created this world? We always forget. And this topic of pride also came before. If you remember, I told you, whenever you become proud, or whenever there's a moment that enters, a thought that enters, oh, I did this so well, stop. Count 10. Count 10 factors that actually allowed us to be in the moment we're in. And when we count to those 10 factors, then our pride just mellows down. So if we're here today, how are we here today? Now count. We're here today because of Narada. We're here today because of Pujat Gurudev's commentary. We're here today because of the entire Guru Parampara, the Chinmaya mission, the training that we received. We're here because of Zoom, because of Wi-Fi, because of all of you, right? Because there's a structure, there's such a structure for us to do this. Because there's a space for me to dwell in, for you to dwell in. And so when we think of all of these things and put it together, and then we say, I did it, that I did it actually falls apart. So that's how to get rid of that abhimana. You just keep counting 10 anytime that a thought enters. And anytime such a thought enters, know that the glory of a bhakta is to become dust. Once Sadhu Vaswani, Dada Vaswaniji, he was asked, what is your guru to you? And he said, I am the dust of his feet. I'm not even the dust of his feet, but I'm the dust of his feet. So that is the greatness of a bhakta. Now, there's something else that we have, which is called dambha. Dambha means this kind of pretentiousness or hypocrisy. A Mahatma is somebody who, what they say, what they think, and what they do is in a straight line. So Mahatmas are very transparent. What you see is what you get. We don't ever have to wonder, hey, are they really like that? Are they not like that? They're transparent. But somebody who is a hypocrite, what they think is different, what they say is different, what they do is different, we don't even know who they are. And they pretend to be something they're completely not. So they display their great, great qualities. Sometimes worse even, that these people, they think that they're so great. They think that they're so great and they are not, they're blind to their faults. So many times we like to carry all of our glories and virtues in front of us. And we are so blind to our faults that they're in the back of us. And so that is dambha also, when we think we're so wonderful and we're blind to all our faults. And then what we do is we recognize everybody else's faults, everybody else's fault. So know that when we recognize everybody else's faults, what are we doing? It's because we're walking behind them. All our virtues are in front, all our faults are in the back. So if we recognize people's faults, it's because we're walking right behind them. We're walking right behind them, and therefore all their faults are visible. If we were walking in front, we would only see God. We would only see God. And know that when we see such faults in people, that is a sign that that very fault is in ourselves. That's why we know it so well. We know it so well. Oh, this person, my goodness, they always procrastinate and they do this and they do this and they constantly delay. Now, how do we know that trait so well? It's because we actually have it. We have it. So we know the ins and outs of that trait. We can see it clearly. What we are seeing and recognizing in others, that is that fault in us. So dambha, this being a hypocrite is us not being able to recognize the faults in ourselves, but being able to see it in others and think that others have it. So that person is a bhakta who can recognize their own faults, their own flaws, and say, Bhagavan, I have all of these flaws. Now, please help me fix it. Please help me fix it. And the glory of Bhagavan Shiva, even when somebody is crooked, like the moon, he puts him in his forehead if he's somebody deserving of love. So whoever has any flaw, any fault, but that person is very sincere to Bhagavan, Bhagavan will take them and will still put them in their head. In this regard, we must feel the glory of Vibhishan. See, in Ramayana, when Hanumanji met Sri Rama and Lakshman, he was disguised as a Brahmana. He was disguised as a Brahmana and he went to inquire about them. And that's why when he did that, Bhagavan Rama didn't hug him. Only when he showed his form as a Vanara, then Bhagavan Rama hugged him because he was who he was. He came as he was. Now Vibhishan, he didn't hide anything. He didn't hide anything. Vibhishan was the brother of Ravana. Now we know Ravana was in Lanka. And Vibhishan tried to stop his brother and said, don't fight with Rama. And Ravana kicked Vibhishan. And Vibhishan straight went to Sri Rama and said that I am Ravana's brother. This is who I am. I am a Rakshasa. I belong to the Rakshasa clan. But here I am today. As I am, I come at your feet. And because he was so open, he was so transparent, Bhagavan Rama said, anyone who takes surrender in me, I will protect. And all the other Vanaras were kind of cautioning Sri Rama, saying, don't, he's the brother of a Rakshasa. What if he does something? What if he's plotting something? But Sri Rama said, no, whoever takes a refuge in me, I will protect. So there is the glory of a bhakta in terms of abhimana is to not have pride, but the ability to become insignificant. And in terms of hypocrisy, the glory of a bhakta is one to be able to see their own flaws, not try to cover it up, not try to pretend that they don't have it, to see their own flaws and go to Bhagavan and say, Bhagavan, I have these flaws, now you help me. Because sometimes these flaws are very difficult to overcome. And believe me, when we offer our faults and flaws to Bhagavan, he takes them. If Bhagavan can take our great offerings of puja, of japa, even our flaws and our faults, he gladly takes them and he switches them around. Only if we have that faith. Now, sometimes people might say, now sometimes I can't help it. He says here, abhimana, dambha, adikam, etc. So some people might say, I can't help it. Sometimes I feel angry. Sometimes I have desire. Sometimes I do get proud. What do I do then? So then the next sutra comes in play. Tadarpitha khila charaha. Tadarpita khila charaha. San kama krodha bhimanadikam. Kama krodha bhimanadikam. Tasminneva karanyam. Tasminneva karanyam. So he says here, Tad arpita akhila acharaha. One, acharaha means the one who has done what? Akhila, everything, arpita, offered, tat, unto him. So the one who has dedicated all activities to him, being that way, kama, krodha, abhimana, adikam. Kama, desire, krodha, anger, abhimana, pride, etc. Tasmin, they have dedicated it towards him, eva, alone, karaniyam, that should be employed. So having dedicated all activities unto him, one should turn all his desire, anger, pride, and so on to him alone. So what do we do now? That these 6 gangsters we all know, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. right? So first we'll take desire. Now, if I have such desire for the world, what do? Sublimate it, turn it towards Bhagavan. That same desire, it's very funny in the Bhagavad Gita. It says, same effort is there. Same effort a kami, somebody who has great desire for the world, puts. And same effort a bhakta puts towards Bhagavan. It's the same effort, but it's just different direction. One gets the world, one gets God. Now just see, both are doing the same things. Somebody who has great desire for something, what are they doing? Whole night and day, they're thinking about it. When we have a desire for something, a thirst for something, a want for something, whole day we're just thinking about that and that alone. It consumes our mind. When our mind is free, all that desire, that only comes. And that one who desires for the world gets the world. But the one who desires for Bhagavan gets Bhagavan. So that strong burst of desire that's there, sublimate it. Sublimate it means channel it, direct it towards Bhagavan. And that we will get Bhagavan. That same anger that's there. We're very, very angry sometimes. And anger is terrible, because when we get angry, that person's face is in our head the whole day long. We're just thinking about that person thing. And then we replay. How many times you keep replaying. And then not only you practice all the dialogue, I'm going to say this. Then if they say this, I'm going to say this. All kinds of things will happen. So better just fight with Bhagavan, because at least our mind will take the form of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, why did you give me this? Why did you give me this? Now, what am I going to do? At least now the mind is taking the form of Bhagavan. And then it becomes calm also. Because remember, Bhagavan is Shantarup. We can only be angry for that to Bhagavan for a short time. It's like a little kid. We can try to shout, but after 2 minutes, we'll be laughing so much because you can't get angry at the kid. What can you do? He's just a kid. So for Bhagavan, it's the same way. After a few minutes, you can't get angry anymore. We'll just feel like, Bhagavan, this is your Leela. I know, you're teaching me a lesson. I know. So if that surge of anger comes, don't direct it to the person you fight with, Bhagavan. Take Bhagavan's name. Just be in Bhagavan. Kama Krodha. Then lobha, greed. Now, if we must become greedy, I want more. Become greedy for God. I want more satsang. I want more time to do japa. I want more time to read and reflect on you. I want more time to just sing your glories. Just become greedy for Bhagavan. That greed will get us more and more Bhagavan. If we must have pride, then have pride about Bhagavan, not about ourselves. That we teach the kids, my God is so great, so strong, and so mighty, right? There's nothing my God cannot do. Have pride that this is my Bhagavan. Look at what he's doing. Look at how he rules the world. Look at how he makes the world flow. He's just great. How Swami Tapovan Maharaj says, what a mad painter there is. Such an exquisite painter. Look at how he's painting all of these sceneries every day. So surprising. So if we must have pride, be proud about Bhagavan. Be proud about how great, how glorious he is. Then if we must have jealousy, be jealous of the bhaktas of Bhagavan. Be jealous of them, that they had such great devotion, such love. I also wish I have that. But not the jealousy in the wrong way, but that kind of inspiration. Turn that jealousy into inspiration. That I also wish I had that. I also wish I become like that. I become devoted like that. So turn that jealousy into inspiration. If we have delusion about the world, which is avidya maya, right? Then come to vidya maya. Be just revel in the name, the form, the glory, the stories of Bhagavan. So any emotion that we have, any negative emotion that's there, direct it towards Bhagavan. In this way, if we direct it towards Bhagavan, what happens is we find peace. We gain that ultimate peace just by channeling, That's all we're doing. It's the same emotion, but just channel it. And it's much higher because sometimes we can't help but feel these emotions. So that is what he says. Then he says, there's something more we have to do in our practice. In Sutra 66. Trirupa Purvakam Nityadasa Nityakanta Bhajanatmakam Premakaryam Premeva Karyam. So he says one has to do Trirupa Bhanga Purvakam. One has to transcend the triple forms. So Bhanga means you go beyond these three forms. And what happens? One then becomes like a Nityadasa, like a constant servant. Nityakanta, like a devoted wife or devoted spouse. Bhajanatmakam, one should seek God this way. Prema karya, love alone should be accomplished. Love alone should be cultivated. So going beyond the three factors of experiences, love consisting of constant service, as in the case of a devoted servant or wife or spouse, alone should be practiced. So first, let's see what is this Trirupa. Trirupa means that Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So we saw before the Sattvic Bhakti, Rajasic Bhakti, Tamasic Bhakti. We saw that Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu. So all these three things we saw. Go beyond that. Means go beyond the Bhakti that has desire for something for one's own self. Be it to harm somebody, be it for wealth, be it for something sattvic, for liberation. Go beyond that kind of bhakti, which is desiring something for our own self. Instead, have that bhava of a dasa. Dasa means a servant. And here, the best example of somebody who has dasa bhakti is Hanumanji, one of the best examples. Why? Who is a servant? A servant is one who is ready to do anything for Bhagavan. Whatever it needs to be done, that servant is willing to do. So if you remember, Sri Hanumanji has the Ashtasiddhis, 8 siddhis. And these 8 siddhis really, through this, Hanumanji shows that he's willing to do anything and everything for Sri Rama. So first we see Anima. Anima means the power to become small. So Hanumanji, when he met Sita Devi, what did he do? He didn't go as this big Hanumanji. He became very, very small, almost like a moth, like a fly. He became very small because he knew what condition she was in and he didn't want to shock her. So he came as a very, very small kind of fly and he approached her with humility as his own mother. He says, "You are Janaki, you are my mother." So he had the ability to become small. At the same time, Hanumanji had that ability to become big, Mahima. So when he crossed the ocean, he became really, really, really big, and then he leapt across the ocean. So he knew that sometimes bhakta is required to become small, but sometimes bhakta is required to become big. Then he was also Garima. He became heavy in the sense that when he had so many obstacles crossing the ocean to Lanka, he didn't stop. He kept going. So he's very much rooted in his convictions. But at the same time, Laghima, he also knew that sometimes he had to become light. So when he was sneaking up in Lanka in the night, he became very light in his footsteps. He could move from each house to each house, each rooftop to each rooftop. He became very light. And at the same time, he had prapti, means the power to innovate. So what Hanumanji did when he was there in Lanka is after he ate all the mangoes, the juicy mangoes in the tree, he let himself be caught. He was very strong, but he let himself be caught by them so that he could survey the whole of Lanka. Because he was thinking, how am I going to survey the whole of Lanka and tell Sri Rama what to do? So he let himself be caught in the rope, and that's what he did, so that he could understand clearly Lanka's whole army and Lanka's whole place. He did that. Then he had prakamya. So prakamya means the ability to be flexible. So the first time he went to Lanka, Hanumanji was a leader because he was the only one there. But the second time he went to Lanka, when Sri Rama was leading, then Hanumanji became the follower. So he knew very well when I have to be the leader, when I have to take that leadership position, but when I have to follow. He knew. Then Ishitva. He knew when that he had to rule, when he had to put everybody together. And finally, Vashitvam. He knew how to inspire everyone. So in this way, if you see the life of Hanumanji, he was Nitya Dasa because whatever is required for him to do, he did. When he had to become very small, he became small. When he had to take up responsibility, he became big. When he had to let himself get caught, he also did that. Many times we don't like ourselves to look bad, right? We don't like ourselves to look small or look, terrible, but he was willing to do that. He was willing to do anything for Bhagavan. And Hanumanji's love for Bhagavan is so much so that even if there's nothing to do, he wants to do something. So there's a story that when they all came back to Ayodhya, what happened? Sri Rama was there, and everyone was so excited that Sri Rama was back in Ayodhya. And so everyone was trying to see what they could do for Sri Rama, and they had a big schedule. So Sri Rama's laundry, who makes Sri Rama's bed, who cooks Sri Rama's food, who takes care of Sri Rama's everything. They had a schedule, and Bharat ji was there, Shatrughan ji, Lakshman ji, Sita ji. The whole schedule was filled. There's nothing for Hanumanji. And Hanumanji got so upset. He says, what do you mean there's nothing for me? They said, no, there's nothing to do. His whole schedule is full. There's nothing you can do for Bhagavan. He said, no, I can do something. Whenever he yawns, I will snap. Because the idea is, like, if somebody yawns and you snap, they'll stop yawning, And so they said, okay, you can do that. But they didn't realize that Hanumanji would be with Sri Ram the whole time, because Hanumanji's like, I never know when he's going to yawn. So he was with him 24/7, waiting to see, is he going to yawn? And if he yawns, I should be there to snap. And everybody was just so upset at Hanumanji. And finally, Sita Devi was like, he's going to go sleep now. And he's not gonna yawn. So just go. So Hanumanji went. But Hanumanji was sitting outside his balcony now, thinking, he didn't know what to do. He was away from Sri Rama, so he was just snapping his fingers, and calling Sri Rama. And what happened was Sri Rama yawned. He yawned. And then he yawned and he couldn't close his mouth. So everybody was frantic. Now what to do? Sri Rama's mouth is just open. It's open. Why is it open there? And everybody is wondering, why can't he sleep? Why is his mouth open? And they're all looking. They said, where's Hanuman? Where is Hanuman? And they saw Hanumanji, and he's in his balcony and he's just saying, Shri Ram. And they said, oh my goodness, Hanumanji, come, you have to come here. And so he went to Sri Rama. And when Sri Rama saw Hanumanji, then finally he closed his mouth and he went to sleep, because he also wanted to show everyone what a great bhakta Hanumanji was. So that is a bhakta, that Sri Hanuman. That he was just willing to do anything. Then Nitya Kanta is the gopis, or those like Andal, those like Mirabai, who just want to be with Bhagavan. They just want to serve Bhagavan. Anything they can do for Bhagavan, they're willing to do. So, for example, for Mirabai, Bhagavan Sri Krishna was her husband, was her life. Every day she used to just worship him. She couldn't do anything without worshipping him, without praying to him, without seeing him. She couldn't do anything. And she felt so much one with him that he was her very life. He was her very life. And I don't know if you remember that story I told you where, Mirabai, she left home and she was traveling, and she went to one Jiva Goswami. And she went to him, but he told his attendant that I don't see any women. Mirabai wanted to see him. He said, I don't see any women. And Mirabai told his attendant, oh, I didn't know there were any male. I didn't know there were any men. I thought Sri Krishna was the only Purush. I thought he was the only man. And everyone else is a female. Everyone else is a woman because he is the only man. And when she told this attendant that, and the attendant told us, Jiva Goswami, he ran to Mirabai. He ran to Mirabai. And he said, you are right. You are absolutely right. In the eyes of Bhagavan, we are all his bhaktas. We are all females. We are all seeking him. So Mirabai saw Sri Krishna like that, Nitya Kanta. So always one with her. And so therefore, this love should be cultivated. This love should be cultivated. So the idea here in this bhakti is cultivate a relationship with Bhagavan. It's not enough to say that this is my Bhagavan, this is the form of Bhagavan I like, this is my Ishta Devata. Well, cultivate a relationship, whether I'm a servant of Bhagavan, I'm a friend of Bhagavan. Some people even feel that Bhagavan is my son or Bhagavan is my daughter. Whatever it is, cultivate that relationship with Bhagavan so that we can continue to keep offering it to Bhagavan. And this will purify our minds and remove all of the obstacles along the way. Our thoughts will be divinized, our words will be divinized, our actions will be divinized, and our lives will be very transparent because we will feel that we truly are a Bhakta of Bhagavan and we're sincerely walking. And if there's anything wrong with us, it's okay. Please tell us. Please tell us. Because our only concern is every step we want to walk towards Bhagavan. There's no other concern. We don't want to look good. We don't want to look like we're the best. We just want to be at the feet of God. That's all. Whatever keeps us there, that is what we want. That is what a Bhakta wants. Okay, so we will stop here for today. Pause this for a moment.